Bagamat alam natin na hindi para sa akin ang pag-awit, pero ako ay mahilig sa kanta. At ang una nga na dinadigest ko pag may napapakinggan ako mga kanta ay yung kanyang substance o yung lyrics niya, kung ano ba sinasabi sa awit na ito. Sa katunayan, marami pong magandang mga kanta, pero kung magnanarrow down lamang ako sa aking mga paboritong awit, dalawa sa mga aking paboritong awit ay isinulat ng isang composer, singer. Ang una po niyang kanta na nasa aking favorite list ay kinanta ng aking paboritong boy band. At ang kanyang awit mismo ay siya mismo ang nagsulat, nag-arrange at nag-perform. And every time sa kanyang live performance ay magbibigay siya ng precaution sa mga audience. If you are doing something, stop. And if you know the lyrics, do not join. Ito yung kanyang precaution sa kanila. Ang awit na ito ay Right Here Waiting at ang nagsulat ay si Richard Marx. So bakit niya sinasabi na whatever you are doing, stop, and if you know the song, do not join? Sapagkat they could only destroy the song. Ito yung sa pananaw ni Richard Marx. Pero nakakalungkot lamang sapagkat kahit sa salita ng Diyos ay meron ibang mga nagjo-join at nakapagbigay rin ng kaguluhan sa napagandang probidensya ng Diyos sa paghatid ng kanya salita sa ating modern time. At ito yung ating tatalakayin, specifically a version or a quote-unquote translation of a quote-unquote Bible, which is the Message. So let us begin our study of the Message Bible. Ang aking report po ay makomprise ng historical presentation, biblical presentation, and as well as sa dulo ay magkaroon tayo ng pastoral or ministerial application. So simulan natin ito sa historical presentation. Two things po dito sa historical presentation ng The Message Bible is the person and his work. So the person is this one. Siya si Eugene Hoyland Peterson. He was born in November 6, 1932, and in 1962, when he was 29 or 30 years, approaching 30 years old, he founded Christ Our King Presbyterian Church, wherein he ministered for 29 years before retiring in 1991. Aside from being a pastor, he is the professor of spiritual theology at Regent College. Sa other info, dito kay Eugene Hoyland Peterson, he is a pastor, scholar, writer, and poet na kung saan more than 30 books ang kanyang sinulat. So makita natin na itong taong to ay hindi lamang may zeal for writing, kundi siya ay may gift din for writing. So nakita natin nandun yung kanyang puso into writing. Sa katunayan, ang kanyang greatest work ay nagkaroon ng award, yung Evangelical Christian Publishers Association Gold Medallion Award. Ang award na ito ay binigay sa kanyang greatest work, which is yung ating tinatalakay, The Message. Siya ay namatay noong October 22, 2018 at the age of 85 dahil sa complications din sa heart problems. So usually, pag ganito mga edad, ganito yung nagiging cause ng kanilang kamatayan. Congestive heart failure and dementia. So, konti na lamang, 2 linggo na lamang ay magba-birthday na sana siya, pero hindi siya umabot sa age of 86. So, this is the person. Siya yung nagsulat ng The Message Bible. And now we would move dun sa The Message Bible na kung saan it says, The Bible in Contemporary Language. Ang kanyang initials ay MSG. So, it gives flavor daw sa salita ng Diyos. Kung sa atin, ang akin personally, ginagamit ko ay ang English Standard Version na kung saan initials nito ay ESV. The Message is MSG. Ito yung kanyang first na published na cover. The Bible in Contemporary Language. And we can see yung kanyang pangalan attributed dito sa work ng The Message Bible. So some call this as the layman's version of the Bible. Layman yung ibig sabihin common people. Yung sabihin natin even the lowest of society can relate and can read or at least understand kung ano yung sinasabi dito sa The Message Bible. It is highly idiomatic and personal paraphrase of the Bible in English by Eugene Peterson. Short notice lamang po, kanina natin yung translations. ang paraphrase po is not a translation. Ito yung parang, in my own words, ito yung sinasabi ng text. Ayan po yung paraphrase. So ito yung paraphrase ni Eugene Peterson from his own mouth mismo. Kung ano yun sa kanya thinking na sinasabi ng mga text sa Bible. So yung New Testament ng The Message Bible was released in 1993. Then succeedingly yung Old Testament books installment basis, 1998 yung Wisdom, yung Prophets in 2000, Pentateuch in 2001, and yung historical books in 2002. So more or less 10 years yung kanyang ginugol para sa pag-create niya ng The Message Bible. So makita rin natin na hindi lamang zeal or hindi lamang yung enthusiasm nito ni Peterson ang meron dito sa in display, pati yung kanyang dedication sa kanyang work. 10 years to complete the whole Bible in his own paraphrase. So itong The Message Bible, it is thoroughly reviewed by a team of recognized Old and New Testament scholars. Kasama na dyan si Peter Enns at si Moises Silva. So ito po yung historical presentation ng The Message Bible, and now we will see or move forward sa kanyang biblical presentation, kung saan i-compare and contrast natin, and as well as give a fair critique dito sa The Message Bible. So take note that the message is marketed as a translation from the original languages, and highly esteemed scholars have endorsed it. So translation daw mula sa original languages, ganitong minarket itong The Message Bible. So they say that this is a translation, but in fact ito ay paraphrase lamang. Sabi nga ni Gordon Fee, very respected scholar ito, it is yung The Message Bible, exegetically sensitive yet speaks in the language of today. Exegetically sensitive meaning faithful siya. Exegetically yung meaning ng or yung lesson na natin makukuha sa mga text. And again, another scholar and a very well-respected person, si J.I. Packer, says, The Message Bible catches the logical flow, personal energy, and imaginative overtones of the original. It is very well indeed. So mula kay Gordon Fee at kay J.I. Packer, makita natin yung endorsement nila dito sa The Message Bible. So hindi lamang ito thoroughly reviewed by scholars, in-endorse ito ng well-known evangelical Christians. So as we move do sa comparative table, gagamit tayo ng formal equivalence. Ito yung word for word translation. Ang representative ng word for word ay ESV. Gagamit rin tayo ng dynamic equivalence, thought for thought. Ang representative ay NIV. At titignan natin yung The Message translation at magbibigay tayo ng some observation. So simulan natin to none other than do sa first 2 verses ng Genesis kung saan nagsisimula ang Biblia. Sa Message translation sabi, First this, God created the heavens and earth. All you see, all you don't see. Earth was a soup of nothingness, a bottomless emptiness, an inky blackness. God's spirit brooded like a bird above the watery abyss. So makita natin na umpisa pa lamang na sineset na yung tone ng rest of the Word of God. Observation, sabi nga ni Gervais Shanley, siya ay isang author sa Banner of Truth. The introduction of his striking imagery, ito yung soup of nothingness, that in fact adds nothing and has no basis on the original text. Bagamat sabi ito mula sa original languages, it is marketed as translation. Pero, umpisa pa lamang makikita na natin na ito yung extension to. Wala ito sa original. Soup of nothingness ang ginamit. Nakakalungkot sapagkat it implies many things. Pangalawang text na tingnan natin is Leviticus chapter 18 verse 22. Sa Message translation, don't have sex with a man as one man does with a woman, that is abhorrent. So kanina nakita natin na walang effect. Ibig sabihin, yung walang basis sa original yung ginamit. Dito in my own observation, this literally, yung toeba na ginamit na Hebrew, literally translates to abomination. At ayon nga sa Strong's Concordance, ito yung makita natin yung mga usage ng bawat word mula sa Hebrew Old Testament hanggang sa Greek New Testament. Sabi ng Strong's, the use of abhorrent is acceptable, especially in the context of idolatry. So in this text, okay yung ginawa ni Eugene Peterson, okay lang. Walang addition, walang subtraction, gumamit lang siya ng ibang term na synonymous at sabi nga is acceptable in the context of idolatry. So we can see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Ang ating next text is yung 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 9 and 10, wherein the Message translation says, "Those who use and abuse each other, use and abuse sex, use and abuse the earth and everything on it, don't qualify as citizens in God's kingdom." Observation lamang, si Peterson became way too cute with words in general, taking away the clarity of the original and even introducing some foreign concepts. Ano ibig niya sabihin? Kasi kung ginamit natin yung term na abuse each other, so isipin natin, kunwari, meron dalawang magkasintahan o dalawang tao na hindi naman kasal at sila ay they are performing or na-practicing yung sex. Isipin natin na, or when they converse, ina-abuse ba natin ng isa't isa? Hindi naman, di ba ginagawa natin ito in a loving manner, in a caring manner. So in that sense, they should qualify as citizens of God's kingdom sapagkat hindi nila ina-abuse ang bawat isa. Pero hindi ito yung mensahe na tinatawid sa atin na 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 9 and 10. Wherein strict message doon yung sexual immorality, nagko-cover yan sa mga premarital sex. So ganito yung ginagawa, parang umiiwas si Eugene Peterson. Pumapasok na dito yung influences ng kanyang contemporary culture. Another text is Romans chapter 8 verse 11. Sa Message, "When God lives and breathes in you, and He does as surely as He did in Jesus, you are delivered from that dead life. With the Spirit living in you, your body will be as alive as Christ." Personal observation, yung clause na nasa loob ng parenthesis, as surely as He did in Jesus, it carries theological nuances. Tandaan natin to, Romans chapter 8 ay pinapakita niya is yung bunga, bagong biyaya ng sa pamamagitan ng pananahan ng Espiritu Santo sa isang mananampalataya, nagbibigay sa kanya ng katiyakan. Sa katotohanan, or katunayan, natapos natin yung serye natin dito sa Romans chapter 8. Pero kung gagamitin ni Eugene Peterson, as He does as surely as He did in Jesus, ibig mo ba sabihin, or ibig niya ba sabihin na si Yesu Kristo ay kailangan magkaroon ng kapatawaran sa kanyang mga kasalanan, kailangan ma-born again, kailangan ma-adapt sa pamilya ng Diyos? So, at best, it is error, and at worst, it is heresy. So, ito yung makikita natin sa kanyang version. So, we now move on the critic of the Message. Pagkamat nagbigay na ako ng preemptive strike siguro dito sa Message translation, but a more balanced or more careful critique. Eugene Peterson have good intentions. Hindi natin pwedeng tanggalin yan sa kanya. Maganda yung kanyang intentions, yung kanyang zeal, and kanyang enthusiasm, yung kanyang dedication, 10 years worth of work ito. Pero problems surface when left unguided, lalo-lalo na isang bagong mananampalataya. Kasama na dito wild renderings, kagaya ng soup of nothingness. And also, inaccuracies tend to water down, make light of heavy matters. Sa ending na Romans chapter 8, verse 35 and following, ako saan doon shall persecution, shall sword, death, magsaseparate ba sa atin? Ang ginawang term is bullying threats. So, isipin natin, bullying threats? Ito ba yung connotation of persecutions, na sword, na death? No. It makes light of heavy matters. Again, also misleading readings which relativize yung mga bagay-bagay. Sa Romans chapter 8, verse 26, kung yung tulong na banal na spirito sa ating pagpe-pray, hindi man natin alam yung ating sasabihin, pero ang rendering ni Peterson, if we don't know how or what to pray, it doesn't matter. Anong ibig niya sabihin na it doesn't matter? Okay lang ba na hindi mag-pray? Ito ba yung kanyang conclusion? And again, politicizing or Marcioning. Marcioning, ibig sabihin, si Marcion ay isang heretic na kung saan ginagamit niya yung Old Testament God as evil, full of wrath, as compared to the good God of the New Testament. So easily ito ay heresy. Sabi niya sa 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 15, even today when the proclamations of that old bankrupt government are read out, they can't see it through. Bakit niya gagamitin yung old bankrupt government? That this politics. Saka ito ay ginagawa mo, dinidisjoint niya yung Old Testament mula sa Bagong Tipan. Tandaan natin, ang New Testament, ang kanya foundation is the Old Testament. Ginagamit ito ng bagong tipan. So we cannot unhinge yung Old Testament. Ito po ang aking favorite na critic, unnecessary colloquialism. Halimbawa, again, sa Romans chapter 8, sabi ni Peterson, God went for the jugular. Ano ibig sabihin niya, jugular? Parang nagja-juggle. Or we felt just great sa 2 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 13. Ano again, which felt just great, so it is feelings. And anachronisms. Halimbawa, gumamit si Peterson ng word of band-aid sa Romans chapter 8 verse 4. Halimbawa, tayo ay nasa panahon ng Apostol Pablo. Tayo taga-Roma, natanggap natin to. Band-aid. Ano tong band-aid? Nasa 1 Corinthians chapter 11, context nito is the Lord's Supper na kung saan hindi sila sabay-sabay kumakain. May nauuna kumain. Sabi ni Peterson, go home and get a sandwich. Sandwich? Di ba isipin natin sa ano to sandwich? So this distorts the original text and confuses the reader. Halimbawa tayo bago mananampalataya, binigyan tayo the message, nabasa natin to. Nakakatawa. But it confuses us, hindi lamang natin napapansin. And eventually, itong implication na to ay lalalim. So, the message, ito nga nandito yung nuances niya, lalo lang if left unguided yung mananampalataya. So, the point is discernment in our reference materials and putting much diligence in the studying of the Word of God is necessary to be equipped in our preparations. Lalo na tayo bilang ministers of the Word. We handle the Word of God. So we must be careful, we must study, and we must be diligent. Lalo-lalo na discernment is a must sa ating ministry. And warning din sa bawat mananampalataya, professing believer, do not contort the Word of God. Contort meaning yung tupi-tupiin sa ating kagustuhan to fit our preferences. The Word of God is His Word, not to be fancied as ours. Sa James chapter 3 verse 1, hindi nga dapat marami ang maging teachers of the word sapagkat meron sila stricter na condemnation or punishment sapagkat ang kanilang hinahawakan ay ang word of God, not their own word. So natapos na tayo sa historical presentation, biblical presentation, and now we move to pastoral or ministerial application. Meron akong 4 na pastoral application. Firstly, ministers of the Word of God should be able to distinguish, utilize, and recommend good and faithful Bible translations. Bilang ministers of the Word of God, hindi mo maiwasan yan, lalo na may bago mananampalataya. May magtatanong, ano bang mararecommend mo sa akin na version? Sapagkat napakadaming translations na Bible. Tandaan natin, meron word for word, equivalence, at meron yung thought for thought. So, we must understand and know that. So, it paraphrase, kagaya itong the message, may sometimes be brilliant, while at other times funny but dangerous. Ito yung nabanggit ko kanina. Matatawa ka sa umpisa pero hindi mo mapapansin na unti-unti ka pala na itong dadalhin sa danger. And let us not dilute or be ambiguous on our theology and our application. So huwag tayo parang iiwas pusoy or safe position. Kundi when in matters of doctrine, lalo na in application, in matters of soul, we must be firm as the Word of God proclaims. Secondly, learn to appreciate the message from the intent, enthusiasm, and encouragement to the years of effort that was put into it. Hindi porke sabihin na natin na it was critic. Always learn to appreciate. Meron kang mga gandang makukuha dyan. Lalo na tayo bilang mga ministers of the Word. Kung tutusin, magkaroon tayo ng inggit doon sa intent, enthusiasm, and encouragement na pinamalas ni Peterson. So we must recognize it for what it is, with all its great strengths and weaknesses, a very free paraphrase to be used only in a supplemental manner. Hindi ito yung primary material natin, it is only a supplemental manner. Thirdly, ang ating contemporary world, ang ating mundo, mahilig ito sa novelty, yung mga bago, and also yung progressive in the line of philosophy and thought. Ayan gusto ng mundo. Pero tandaan natin, Hebrews chapter 13 verse 8, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It is a very timely exhortation and reminder for us na hindi nagbabago ang salita ng Diyos. Hindi rin nagbabago yung reality and consequences of sin. It is still the same. And the truth and glory of God is salvation is still our aim. So, totoo na hulog ang tao. He needs salvation more than anything else. At ang salvation only found in Jesus Christ ay hindi rin magbabago throughout all generations. So, hindi natin dapat i-price ang novelty. Hindi natin dapat i-price ang progressive, but we must return to God as He revealed His Word to us. And lastly, as an exhortation sa mga pastors and other ministers of the Word, shepherd the flock of God that is amongst you. Ito is sa 1 Peter chapter 5 verses 1 to 5. And also yung caring for the lost, yung pagpoproklama bilang ambassadors of the message of reconciliation sa 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verses 18 to 20, takes and makes a working minister. Ang bawat pastor o minister of the Word is a working minister in terms of shepherding the flock and caring for the lost, feeding the sheep that is entrusted among him, and also praying for them. At kasama na dyan yung kanilang ang pagturo niya sa kanyang mga tupa na pinagkatiwala sa kanyang Panginoon. Nasa ganun sila kalalago at magbubunga ito na mas maganda, mas amplified na praise, appreciation, and for the glory of God. So, as I end this report, mag-iwan ako ng quote, none other than from the word or from the mouth of Eugene Hoyland Peterson. Says, if there is anything distinctive about the message, perhaps it is because the text is shaped by the hand of a working pastor. So ito yung ating matututunan mula kay Eugene Hoyland Peterson. It takes a working pastor, from prayer for the sheep, from working to them sa salita na ating ihatid tuwing linggo, and also encouraging them, exhorting them to persevere in that faith. And all of this, it takes a working pastor. Kaya a pastor who does not labor, who does not work para sa kaluwalhatian ng Diyos, is only working for his own glory. And again, James chapter 3 verse 1, a stricter condemnation for such ministers. So makita natin, bagamat very flawed ang product nito ni Eugene Hoyland Peterson, lalo-lalo na in terms of serious study of the Word, learn to appreciate his zeal, his enthusiasm, his encouragement, and be zealous yourself, enthusiast sa yung mga kailangan gawin for the glory of God. So ito yung makikita natin, bagamat may strengths and weaknesses ang the Message Bible, but we can always get the positives out of it. So this ends my report, and this is the Message Bible.